This is the first episode of an ongoing miniseries called Sacred Shifts. In each episode of this series, I'll share with you a personal moment of deeper spiritual understanding that I had that shifted my perspective and therefore my motherhood. And I'll encourage you to see where God might be giving you a gentle nudge to reset your heart and reshape your motherhood too. Hey Mama, and welcome to the Christian Mom Reset. I'm your host, Kristen, women's minister, homeschooling boy mom ×3, and just like you, striving to walk closely with God while balancing all the things. If you're looking to heal from spiritual depletion, grow in your faith, and walk intimately with God right now in the messy middle of motherhood, then you're in the right place. Get ready to go deep, listen closely for God's voice, and expect transformation, because that is what our God can do. So whether you're folding laundry or enjoying a kid-free car ride, let's hit that reset button together. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to the first ever episode in our mini-series called Sacred Shifts. This series is meant to capture those touchstone moments that resonate with you when you have a realization about something, or when God gives you clarity and understanding about something that's been weighing on your heart or your mind. Because we all know those moments where you're in the middle of doing dishes, or you're driving, or you're sitting contemplating, and something just clicks, almost like a divine download. The Spirit is giving you information that you didn't have, that you needed, that then changes everything. So I am going to kick it all off by sharing with you one of my most recent sacred shifts that I've had that is so relieving, and I hope you find relief and joy in it as well. Recently, we came back from vacation. First, before we had vacation, we started our road trip with a youth and family camp. We were with high schoolers for a week, my husband and I, and our 3 kids, serving there at the camp, and we didn't have any babysitting. Some people would call us crazy, and maybe we were a little crazy, but it was great. It was very hot, but it was great, and lots of awesome moments there. And then after we ended that week, we drove a couple more hours north to a state where our friends, I have 3 friends in that state who all live there. We visited 2 out of the 3. We didn't get to see one. That was sad. And then after that, we went a couple more hours north. We were in New Jersey. We went to Connecticut, and we were visiting the church where my husband and I first started out in the full-time ministry. And that was so incredibly special for many reasons. But right now, I'm going to share with you one of the reasons that made it the most special. So before I do, I forgot I have to backtrack to the camp that I was at. So this camp has been around for a couple decades, and I had not been to that camp for 17 years, where when I first went, I served as a counselor there for 6 weeks in my summer going into college. And there's a bridge that overlooks a river. Maybe some would call it something else, but I'm calling it a river or a creek, a very big creek. And the water flows down. There's a little dam and a little waterfall, and it like trickles there, and it's more peaceful, and it's just beautiful. And when I was 17, turning 18 that summer, I would go there to commune with God. And I hadn't been there for 17 years. I went back a couple days into camp. I went back pushing the stroller, trying to put my baby to sleep, and I saw the bridge. And as I walked on it, I just started weeping. Makes me emotional as I think about it now. I started weeping because it was so special to be back in this place where, Bible in hand, I spent deep, meaningful time with God, increasing and deepening my faith and my walk with Him and our emotional intimacy together. And I hadn't been there in so long. It just brought me back and was so incredibly encouraging. And I was also crying because I was sad. I was sad to remember how deep and vivid and vibrant my faith felt at that time, and how it doesn't feel that way anymore. Not that I don't have faith, not that it hasn't grown or it isn't deeper or anything like that, but it doesn't feel as alive as it did when I was a teenager, before I had kids. So here I am trying to push the baby to sleep, and just having this moment crying because I was both happy and sad. It reminded me of the Israelites with the second temple being built, and there was like rejoicing and mourning and wailing at the same time. That's how I felt. So I had that moment at camp. And then later in Connecticut, we took my family, my husband, myself, and my 3 boys, and we drove up to this mountain. It's called, for anyone in Southern Connecticut, it's called West Rock. And it's a gorgeous place where I used to go when we lived there, when we first started in ministry, and I would pray. And I would pray about anything and everything. But mostly, I would pray about my family and all that was going on. And my spiritual life was very tied in at the time to how my family was doing. I was very invested in that, and still am, of course, but there was just so many tumultuous things going on that it kind of tossed me emotionally back and forth very often when I was younger. And then one of the last times that I had there was praying about an international move from Connecticut. We moved to Spain. So praying about that, praying in Spanish, and you drive up this path that is just covered in trees. There's a canopy of trees. You roll down your windows, you look out your window, and you see all this forest of greenery and beauty and tranquility as you drive, all the curves and edges going up to the top of the mountain. And then when you get to the top, there's a plateau. And you drive toward the edge where you park, and you walk out of your car and step onto the gravel, and there's a little wall separating you from the rest of the city of New Haven, where you can see the university that's right there. You can see Yale in the background and downtown. You can see all the neighborhoods and all the cars driving by, and just you can overlook all of New Haven, and you can even see the Long Island Sound on the other side. You see the water, and it's so peaceful. And it is where I would go to commune with God when I was first married. And to be there, we took our kids out of the car, we sat on that ledge and just looked out. And as I'm sitting there with my arms wrapped around 2 of my boys, looking out and just reminiscing, it hit me. Life happens in seasons. Never did I think that I would come back to this place with my whole family to show them my Gethsemane, to show them where I spent this beautiful time with God regularly, and have my full quiver. It was so special, but it made me realize, wow, that time on the bridge, going to West Rock before having children and what I would pray about, and then coming to West Rock now with my children. And I'm not praying about those things anymore. There are different things happening in my life that I'm praying about. My family's in a different place. And it made me realize it's okay. It's okay that right now you are in the stage of motherhood where it might not be as easy to connect with God. And that stinks. And that's hard sometimes because you know how good it was. But it's okay because life happens in seasons. And you might look back 10 years from now and there will be happy things and there will be sad things, but life will be different 10 years from now than it was 10 years ago because it happens in seasons. So it was so, I don't have the right word. It was so comforting to me and so reassuring. It was so reassuring to me to know that maybe I don't have an hour a day to spend time with God and to really get into what I'm thinking and feeling and the depths of my heart and my soul where I love to be. Maybe I don't have that time because I have 3 little kids running around and I'm nursing a 1-year-old and life is busy and I'm still waking up in the middle of the night and I'm tired. But that's okay. That's okay because it's just a season. And it's a little bit longer of a season than maybe some other seasons, but it's just a moment in time. And it won't last forever. And that is so bittersweet. It's so bittersweet because there's so many beautiful things about this season. And it also is hard to connect with God in a deep, meaningful way every single day when you have young kids. So what is it for you? What is God trying to tell you about seasons in your life and how He's walking with you side by side in each of them? After this episode ends, take a moment to check in with yourself and connect with God. Pray, journal, sing it out. Ask Him for that clarity and direction that you need to make that sacred shift and reorient yourself more toward Him, because you too, Mama, are in a season, and it's a sacred season. It's one of the most important things you will ever do in your whole life, and it comes with things that are beautiful, and it comes with things that can be painful sometimes as well. So go commune with God. Spend that time, ask Him for the clarity. God, what do you want me to understand about this season of my life? Please bring me a word that will give me peace and reassurance and draw me near to you. Thank you for listening to the Christian Mom Reset and spending time with me today. If this episode encouraged you or was helpful in any way, would you do me one quick favor? I could really use your help getting the message out to other Christian mamas that there is still hope for emotional intimacy with God. The best way to help is by leaving a review. It tells the podcast algorithm to push this content to more moms like you searching for Christ-centered encouragement. And if you ever want to reach out, ask a question, or share how God is moving in your own motherhood, I would love to connect with you. You can email me at thechristianmomreset@gmail.com. It would truly be a joy to hear from you.